Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Prashant Reddy. Prabhu. So we'll start. Right? Start with a small prayer, small kirtan. Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandanam Prajajana Ranjanam Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vijana Vallava Girivaradhari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhupada and Mataji, Dandal Pranam. Let's get to the prayers and then get into the class. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपः कुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमो महावधन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रे नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गो ब्राह्मण्याय हिताय च जगत् हिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते श्रीमते कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे वाचालं पंगुं लगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यीश्वरम् ओम अपवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थगतोऽपि वा यस्मरेति पुण्डरीकाक्षं स बाह्याभ्यन्तरशुचिः श्रीविष्णु 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 हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी and Mataji's Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for joining. Wonderful Saturday morning, Sunday morning Bhagavatam class. Yeah, so it's we're seeing less and less people, but we'll still continue with what we have to do with in terms of our Bhagavatam readings every weekend. Yeah, yesterday I think Sucharita Mataji, Grace Sucharita Mataji took the class of 9th canto, 22nd chapter, the descendant sons of Ajamida. So let me just share the screen. So we are coming to a point. We have seen this the ninth canto. The ninth canto is called the canto of liberation. So we have seen the stories of especially the whole Ramayana, the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, and then the what do you call it, the Vamsas of Ikshvak Vamsa and both Ramachandra and Sita Mata Vamsas and all that stuff basically. It starts with Saubhar Muni and then the Ramayana, and now we are uh, entering into pieces of Mahabharata. So what does that mean? Entering into pieces of Mahabharata. It only means we are ready to welcome Lord Sri Krishna basically into our lives of Bhagavatam. So we are close to the end of ninth canto, and from the beginning of 10th canto, we'll start seeing the glories of Lord Sri Krishna. So yesterday we have seen the descendants till I think Mataji covered 25th shloka also, but still I thought we'll start from 25th shloka today, because honestly that's the only shloka that has some purport basically. The rest of the things just carry on explaining the descendants and the Vamsa and so on, basically, not so much in terms of purports, basically. But still, let's try to discuss some aspects of philosophy and some aspects of Mahabharata, basically, a story that's all known to us. But this is just the story uh, before what we know the Mahabharata, basically, are the starting points of Mahabharata. So let's start with this sloka, 25th, 9th canto, 22nd chapter, 25th shloka. Kshetre prajasya vaibhrat matra ukta bhadarainaha dhritarashram cha pandum cha vidurum chapya jijanat. So, Kshetriya means in the wives of maid servant. Then Aprajasya of Vichitravirya, who has no progeny. Why indeed? Bhratu of the brother. Matra Utta being ordered by the mother. Bhadarayana, Vyadavyasa. Sorry. Bhadarayana, Vyadavyasa. Dhritarashtra, the son named Dhritarashtra, Cha, and Pandu, the son of Pandu, Cha also. Viduram, a son named Vidura, Cha also. Api, indeed, Ajijanat begot. So this is how the three children were born. Bhadarayana, the Sri Vyasadeva, following the order of his mother, Satyavati, begot three sons. Two by the womb of Ambika and Ambalika, and the two wives of his brother Vichitravirya, and the third by Vichitravirya's maidservant. These sons were Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. Let's go through the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vichitravirya died of tuberculosis, and his wives Ambika and Ambalika had no issue. Therefore, after Vichitravirya's death, his mother Satyavati, who was also the mother of Vyasadeva, asked Vyasadeva to beget children through the wives of Vichitravirya. In those days, the brother of the husband could beget children through the womb of his sister-in-law. This is known as the Devarena Sutatpati. Devarena Sutatpati. If the husband was somehow unable to beget children, his brother could do so through the womb of his sister-in-law. The Devarena Sutatpati and the sacrifice of Aswamedha and Gomedha are forbidden in the years of Kali Yuga. So again, we see this sloka in the last about couple of classes ago, where we are reading about Bharata Maharaj glories. The same shloka Prabhupada writes there also. Ashwamedham Ghaval Mabham Sanyasam Pala Paikrutam Devarenesu Totpatam Kalau Pancha Vivarjayet. In the years of Kali Yuga, 5 acts are forbidden: the offering of a horse in sacrifice, the offering of a cow in sacrifice, and the acceptance of the order of sannyasa, the offerings of oblations of flesh to the forefathers, and the man's begetting children in his brother's wife. Yeah, this is referred in the Brahmavaivarta Puranam. So most of us knows the story of Santanudu, story of Satyavati. Satyavati is a wife of Santanudu. Santanudu first has a son Bhishmadev. Then after that, Santana marries Satyavati. Satyavati, before marrying Santanu, has a son, Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva. He was born before marrying Santanu, basically. Now, if you look back to the story, or if you look back to the history, this have this tradition of being able to have children from other source other than husband has begun much earlier to this, basically. If you go through this history again, if you go to the first what do you call it, the first the Mahabharata opening, what's the first portion of Mahabharata? I forget the name. The Adi Parva. If you go to Adi Parva, there it describes basically. This is the story. Basically these two converge here, Adi Parva and what we are reading in Bhagavatam. So after Parasurama starts to kill all the Kshatriyas, and he did that so for 21 times. So it said like some of the Kshatriyas, in one of the lectures I heard, some of the Kshatriyas that fled this particular Bharatakanda into some unknown islands, basically, and that became the current Western culture, is what it was told in one of these lectures, basically. So that the origin of the current Western culture came from those Kshatriyas who ran away from this portion of Bharatakanda. Anyway, that's not our point of discussion. But when 21 generations of Kshatriyas were continuously killed, the Kshatriya ladies did not know what to do, because the descendants and this is the lineage is lost. The lineage is lost. That is what is happening on one side. So they approached Brahmanas, basically. They approached the Brahmanas, and that point of time, the Brahmanas took up this leadership of what being able to impregnate the Kshatriya women and get Kshatriya children and let them rule the country, let them rule the place, but they are not the fathers of those children, basically. Their responsibility is only to make the Brahmana woman, I mean the Kshatriya woman, pregnant, basically. That's what happened. What's happening in the on the land on Bharatvarsha. So again, if you go back to Mahabharata, there's one. Sorry, go back to Ramayana. In Ramayana, there is one place where Parashurama tells, I don't know with whom he tells, but he tells his desire to see Goloka Krishna, and that continues till Krishna is born and Parashurama meets Krishna and Bhuloka. And then between their conversation, he realizes that this is the Goloka Krishna, and then his desire is fulfilled and he leaves the place, basically. This is after Parashurama teaches Karna the different what you call different Yuddha Vidyas and so on and so forth. So that's another linkage between Mahabharata and Ramayana. Basically, you see Parashurama coming from Ramayana time to Mahabharata time with his desire to see the Goloka Krishna. And then when he sees the Goloka Krishna, the Krishna, when he comes to Goloka, then he realizes then that he's the same person, and he is what you call it, satisfied. That's one side of the story. Now, so when Parashurama is killing all these Kshatriyas, and the Kshatriya ladies have taken what you call shelter of the Brahmanas, this is happening on one side of the story. And then the other side of the story, the demons are actually starting to dominate. By what you call it, by taking over the demigods, right? They are taking over the devatas, basically. They are defeating devatas. Then devatas actually approach Lord Mahavishnu. And Mahavishnu tells them that in the coming years, and see, the demigod, the Rakshasas, Asuras are not only taking over the Swargaloka, but they're also starting to infiltrate into the Bhuloka also, basically. So their Amsas are starting to be born in Bhuloka in the beginning of Kali Yuga. So at that point of time, these devatas who are actually um, not so much powerful anymore, are actually reaching Mahavishnu, Brahma and Mahavishnu for help, basically. Then Mahavishnu tells them that he is going to come to earth as Krishna and take care of these asuras, basically, these rakshasas. Then that is how you will start seeing, that's how you'll start seeing right from the beginning of Krishna's Leela's pastimes, from the time of birth, of killing Potana and all different rakshasas who are already taking part, becoming part of Mother Earth, basically. So in Adi Parva, so this is not so much of interest, but I want to give you some glimpses of things, basically. In the Adi Parva, it is actually written um, how different amsas of devatas have come to support the Lord or to work along with Lord under the suggestions of the Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu suggests when Krishna is coming to the earth to take care of this situation, he asks devatas to send their amsas to help Krishna. That is exactly how the storyline could be. The Vichitravirya and they had Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and all that stuff, basically. But that's the external storyline. Because of the order of Mahavishnu, you see the Yamaraja Samsa is coming as Dharmaraj, and then Vayu Samsa is coming as Bhima, Indra Samsa is coming as Arjuna, and Ashwani Kumar Samsa is coming as Nakula Sahadeva. And does anybody know whose Amsa is Abhimanyu? Hare Krishna, does anybody know whose Amsa is Abhimanyu? Abhimanyu is actually Soma Samsa, means moon god Samsa. So when moon god was asked to go as a son of Arjuna or Indra Samsa, somehow there is some discussion that Soma is not so much inclined to become what do you call it, Indra's son. So during that conversation, Soma, there's an understanding, and they will say that Soma, yes, you have to go because, but your tenure is not going to be so long. You should go, but your tenure is not going to be so long. But you will become father of a glorious person, and that's how Abhimanya's life is shortened, and then he becomes father of Parikshit Maharaj. So in Adiparva, actually, the whole list of incarnations, I mean, list of different uh, people is given, basically. So here, then how Jarasandha is Dhanava Viprachitti was born as Jarasandha, Hiranyakaspi is born as Sisupala, Prahlada's younger brother, Samhalada, was born as Salya. No, this Salya is different from Salya Sarajya Salya that we talk about. That the Saradi that actually did the Sarajyam for Karna. This Salya is the guy who actually loves the third sister, Amba Ambarisha, Ambika Ambarisha. The second is husband, I mean lover, basically. So that is actually in the previous birth is the younger brother of Prahlad Maharaj. Then like that, Anuhlada was born as Drishtaketu, and then the demon Vatskala appeared as uh, Bhagadatta. Then like that, you have Kamsa's previous birth is Dhanava Kalanemi. Then a portion of Brihaspati is born as Dronacharya. Then united portions of Shiva, Yama, Kama, Krodha appeared as Aswadhama. Aswadhama has come from 4 different amsas, basically. Some part of him came from Shiva, Yama, Kama, and Krodha. Then Dwapar Yuga personified. Dwapar Yuga personified itself as Shakuni. Then Satyaki, Drupada, and Kritavarma were portions of Maruts, and Yamaraja appeared as Vidura, and then purity is personified. Um, in purity personified is incarnated as Panduraja. Then a portion of Kali appeared as Duryodhana. Then all of Duryodhana's brothers, headed by Dussasana, were Rakshasa sons of sage Pulyasta, right? The Pandavas are portions of Dharma, Yuva, Vayu, Indra, and two Ashwini Kumaras. Then portion of Agni took birth as Drishtadyumna, and Shikandi was formerly a Rakshasa. Then Vishwadevas took birth as sons of Draupadis. Then Kumara appeared as Pradyumna. Then 16,000 Apsaras are the different wives of Krishna. And a portion of Sachi has appeared as Draupadi Devi. Sorry, not Soma, the son of Soma, Varsha, the son of Soma, Varsha is appeared as Abhimanyu, basically. So again, this is what is defined in the Adi Parva. So when we read those things, we understand how this stories of Mahabharata are converging into what we see today as Kali Yuga. So you have seen different stories in what you call Bhagavatam, how these Rakshasas, Asuras are always fighting with Devatas, and then they're defeating them, and then Lord Mahavishnu or Krishna comes to rescue them. And the rescue of one of such rescues is what is Kurukshetra, and one of such rescues is reason for Krishna coming into the to save Mother Earth, and one of that rescues is what has given way to Kali Yuga. And probably people like me are those ones who are remnants of those Danavas, who are still struggling, and probably people like Lilananda Prabhu is here to rescue us, so giving us the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Otherwise, I don't know what else and where else would have been.
Prabhuji, you are telling yours.
No, Prabhu, that's the feeling I had when I was reading this, basically. No wonder there is so much of the remnants of Rakshasa thing in Kali Yuga. And this is and why was this propensity come? We always ask ourselves, why did we leave the Goloka? But probably it's why we left. I don't know. Maybe in the path we took derouted to Patala Loka, and by mercy we were born on earth, basically. So this is an opportunity to get ourselves out of it. And one of the reasons that caused the whole confusion, or whole what do you call it, the Rakshasa Tattva is always the soul wanting to imitate Krishna. The soul is envious of Krishna, right? That's what we see in philosophy all the time. And it is in one of the lectures I was listening, the epitome of that soul wanting to imitate Krishna. We all have that feeling. And then the height of that feeling is Pandruk Krishna, is what they said, basically. That feeling when goes high, more and more, you become the Pandrika Krishna like, and Krishna himself has to come and take care of you or kill you, basically, and make sure that you are not becoming dangerous to the society, basically. So what happens is that in the process, what is that really? Each time you try to imitate Krishna, that means each time you're trying to imitate Krishna, is each time you're thinking of your own self. Krishna tries to put you back on the right path by sending noble souls, by sending the realized souls, and so on and so forth. That way, the whole Shastra, we always say Bhagavad Gita is a manual to life. But Bhagavatam and the whole Shastras is the manual to the livelihood itself, basically. It is just not about how you should live, but how you should live in the society, and design the society in such a way that you are fulfilling the desire of Krishna. And the desire of Krishna is establishment of dharma is one part of the desire of Krishna, but the reason for establishment of dharma is so much so that you have to establish this dharma following the Shastra. And what does it help you do? It helps you get yourself less connected to the materialistic and understand the philosophical perception of what Lord wants you to do, basically. That is, come back to his world, come back to Goloka. He's simply waiting for us. And in the process of that waiting, we are not willing to listen to him. He comes. He comes to drive away. He comes to, like how a Gopala takes care of the cows, how a cow herder takes care of the goats, basically. He comes to take care of us, chase us to till we reach our destination of Goloka. So in the process, he asked different aspects, different devatas were asked to come down to take care or help Krishna to demolish the uh, uh, demonic influence on Mother Earth, basically. So we know this story again, Vichitravirya, are the children of Satyavati. Then the first child already dies before the war, before this whole incident. Basically, he gets into fight with I forget the name now. Chitrangada. Yeah, Chitrangada dies with some Gandharva Raja, basically. And then because of envy, they both fight, and then he dies. And then Vichitravirya, younger brother, is married to Ambika and Ambalika. Then before this, Satyavati asks Bhishma to marry, but Bhishma says, what do you call it? He's taken an oath that he's not going to marry, and he lives to that. And then he brings Ambika, Ambalika, and Ambari. What's the third name? I forget now. So then these two girls get married to Vichitravirya. But then Vichitravirya is so submerged into the romancing of these two wives that he forgets the kingdom and all that. And at some point, he gets sick. He gets sick with tuberculosis and he dies. Then Satyavati tells Bhishma, "Now you don't want to get married, but you are a brother of Vichitravirya. So because of this, he's not there anymore. You have to impregnate these two women for the continuity of the race, basically, continuity of the kingdom, continuity of the Vamsha, basically." Then Bhishma tells, like, again, he's not entitled because he has taken the oath that he will not have children of his own. Then he tells the story to Satyavati in Adiparva, where whatever I told you, the whole Parasurama story, basically. And he tells that's how Kshatriyas in the past have taken shelter of Brahmana, and so probably we should take shelter of Brahmana. And then Satyavati tells Bhishma the story of her life. That's how she gave birth to Vyasadeva after marrying Parasara. Parasara fell in love with Satyavati because of Satyavati has a boon serving some sage. That sage gives her a boon to Satyavati, that she has a natural radiance of Sugandha, some smell, basically. And Parasara gets attracted to Satyavati for that smell, and then Vyasadeva was born. But what happens is, when Ambika and Ambalika were told that because her husband died and they don't have the children, that Satyavati is arranging for them to get impregnated with the Vichitravirya's brother. When they hear it is Vichitravirya's brother, they assume it is the Bhishma Dev that is going to impregnate them. So what happens is, then they sit for the puja for this one, and they expect Bhishma Dev to come. And instead of Bhishma Dev, Vyasadeva comes there. They don't know the story. They don't know that Vyasadeva is also son of Satyavati. So then, by seeing Vyasadeva, what actually happens is, when they expect Bhishma Dev, it's a different personality, and a different personality Vyasadeva, who is not like a prince, he's more a Brahmana, and he's just what do you call it, given up everything and going through austerities and all that kind of person. So they could not what do you call it, take the change in the personality there. And Ambika closes her eyes, and that's how So Dhritarashtra is born. Ambalika shivers after seeing Vyasadeva, and that's how Panduraja was born with those defects. Immediately after their birth, Satyavati understands, so this is what happened, and she calls Ambika and Ambalika, saying, like, what you have done is not right. So we are now left with two people who are not 100% capable of becoming proper kings and take care of the kingdom. Then she asked Ambalika for the second time, basic Ambika for the Ambika. And Ambika agrees that, for second time to get impregnated with Vyasadev. But in the last minute, without even telling Satyavati, instead of she sitting in the puja, she lets one of her maids sit in the puja. And Vidura is born to that person, basically. That's how the three brothers or three people that Kuruvamsa started with Dhritarashtra, Vidura, Panduraj, and Vidura. So let's go to the next next shloka. Again, these are all just explaining you the Vamsa after that. Dhritarashtra's wife Gandhari gave birth to 100 sons and one daughter. O king, the oldest of the son was Duryodhana, and daughter name was Dussala. So there are stories actually what was Gandhari's previous position, Dhritarashtra's previous position, Pandura's previous position, and all that probably in detail in the Adiparva of Mahabharata. Then in 27 and 28 shloka, we see Pandu was restrained from sexual life because of having been cursed by Essays, and therefore his three sons, Yudhishthira, Bhima, and Arjuna, were begotten through the womb of his wife Kunti by Dharmaraja, by the demigod controlling of the wind, and by the demigod controlling the rain. Pandu's second wife Madri gave birth to Nakula and Sahadeva, who were begotten by the two Ashwini Kumaras, the five brothers. Headed by Yudhishthira, begot 5 sons through the womb of Draupadi. These 5 sons were your uncles. So who is saying this? Sukadeva Goswami is saying this to Parikshit Maharaj, his ancestral history basically. And the whole thing is, the Parikshit Maharaj, the whole Bhagavatam is the conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. Similarly, whole Mahabharata is conversation between two people. Do you know who are those two people? Does anybody? Mahabharata is conversation between, do you know who are those two people? Hare Krishna?
Maybe Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami.
Okay. Any other guesses?
Dhritarashtra and Sanjeeva.
Sorry?
Dhritarashtra and Sanjeeva.
Dhritarashtra and Sanjeeva is only, what do you call it? The sections of Mahabharata, basically. That is between, that's the what we see is Bhagavad Gita. No? Any other guesses? Parikshit Maharaj's son is Janamejaya and Vaisampayanika. Right? So after the death of Parikshit Maharaj, there are certain conversations. First conversation actually is between Janamejaya and Uttara. So Janamejaya asks Uttara, how did Parikshit Maharaj, what the boldness of his father to face death. Then Uttara tells actually Janamejaya the story of what we call it Brihad Bhagavatam, basically. She tells her conversation with Parikshit Maharaj, and then that conversation is the Brihad Bhagavatam. Then Janamejaya, because Parikshit Maharaj was killed by snake bite, he does the Sarpayagna, where he brings in all the snakes, and they all fall into the into the yagam, basically. Then there comes one dog, actually. Actually, the whole story starts even before Sarpayagam, a curse of a dog. During the Sarpayagam, a dog comes into the Yajna Mandapam, and it is chased away by Janamejaya's brothers. So Janmejaya's brothers chases it away, and the dog feels very, what do you call it, very sad, and it goes and explains it to its mother. The mother dog comes and has a conversation with Janmejaya, saying, "My child has not done any mistake. It's doing its duty as a dog. It's just suffering. I mean, for this thing as karma. I mean, as part of karma, it took the dog body, and it's doing its life as dog. And your brothers have chased it away, and it curses Janmejaya." Then Janmejaya asks Vaisam, did I say which one is that? Janmejaya then asks this Muni, and then the conversation between those two people is Mahabharata. That's the Mahabharata story. So actually, if you look at the whole literature, it actually starts with the curse of a dog, and the whole Mahabharata again ends with the with a dog accompanying Yudhishthira Maharaj to Yamaloka. I don't know if you know that story. When Parikshit Maharaj is made king, Yudhishthira and Pandavas, they leave they start walking towards Swargaloka basically. Then different the Draupadi Devi and the 5 Pandavas, and along with them a dog also keeps walking. And each one of them falls off or could not go all the way, and they fall off at different places basically. But Dharmaraj and with him goes the dog. And then Dharmaraj at the entrance of Swargaloka, he tells them basically, this is the only thing that came along with me, and it should also be given entry to Swargaloka. Then the person inside in the form of the dog is none other than Yamadharmaraj, and he comes out and he tells Dharmaraj, he came to test him all through to see he will pass through the journey to the Swargaloka properly. And that's how actually Mahabharata starts with the story of a dog and ends with the story of a dog. Basically, that's a different story. So this Janmejaya's conversation is what Mahabharata is. And here we are seeing again Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami telling Parikshit Maharaj, these were your uncles basically. These Upapandavas basically. Yeah. The we got 5 sons through the womb of Draupadi. These were your uncles. So those are the Upapandavas. Then let's see who are probably, I think we have given those names also. From Yudhishthira came a son named Prativindhya, and from Bhima a son named Srishtasena, and from Arjuna a son named Srutakirti, and from Nakula a son named Satanika. So these are the 4 sons, basically, the 4 uncles that Sukadeva Goswami is talking about. And from Sahadeva, O king, the son of Sahadeva was named as Srutakarma. Furthermore, Yudhishthira and his brothers begot other sons in other wives. Yudhishthira begot a son named Devika through the womb of Pauravi, and Bhishmasena begot son named Ghatotgata through the wife of Hidimba, and a son named Sarvagata through the wife Kali. Similarly, Sahadeva had a son named Suhotra through his wife named Vijaya, and who was the daughter of king of the mountains. Then further, Shloka 32. Nakula begot a son named Naramitra with the wife named Karinmati. Similarly, Arjuna begot a son named Iravan through his wife known as Ulupi, the daughter of Nagas, and a son named Bahurvahana by the womb of princess of Manipura. Then Bahurvahana became the adopted son of the king Manipura. So then the grandson, he's the king, the princess of Manipura. Then he takes the I think probably this is the current Manipur area where Vaishnavism was there for a very long time, is what it was Prabhupada tells in the purport. So this is the descendants of Arjuna basically, that he married the princess of Manipura, and then the king of Manipura again takes the grandson and makes him the king basically. It is to be understood that Parvati is the daughter of the king very, very old mountainous country known as the Manipura state. 5,000 years ago, therefore, when Pandavas ruled, Manipura existed as did its king. Therefore, the kingdom is very old, aristocratic Vaishnava kingdom. If this kingdom is organized as a Vaishnava state, this revitalization will be a great success because of 5,000 years. This state has been maintained its identity. If the Vaishnava spirit is revived there, it will be a wonderful place, renowned throughout the entire world. Manipuri Vaishnavas are very famous in Vaishnava society. In Vrindavana and Navadvipa, there are many temples constructed by the king of Manipura. Some of our devotees belong to Manipura state. The Krishna consciousness movement, therefore, can be well spread in the state of Manipura by the cooperative efforts of Krishna conscious devotees. But today, what we see Manipura is in news for other reasons, basically other religious reasons rather than Vaishnava reason. But here Prabhupada in his purport tells that the Manipura state is one of the original Vaishnava kingdoms are where Vaishnavism preserved, and the roots of what we see in Navadvipa and Vrindavan have actually come from the sages of Manipur that actually held the Vaishnava philosophy and Vaishnavism together, is what we should understand from this purport. Let's get to 33rd shloka. My dear King Parikshit, your father Abhimanyu was born from the womb of Subhadra as the son of Arjuna. He was the conqueror of all Atirathas, those who could fight with 1,000 charioteers. For him, by the womb of Uttara, the daughter of Viratraj, basically, you were born. So this is your lineage, is what Sukadeva Goswami is explaining Parikshit Maharaj, basically. Then he continues to say how the future of that lineage is going to be. After the Kuru dynasty was annihilated in the battle of Kurukshetra, you are also about to be destroyed by Brahmastra, atomic weapon released by the son of Dronacharya. But by the mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, you are saved from the death, basically. So we know the story how Aswadhama wants to completely eradicate the Kuruvamsa, but then Lord Krishna takes control over, and then he preserves one unborn womb, Parikshit Maharaj in Uttara, and that. So again, we cannot keep asking. Krishna has come to save Parikshit Maharaj at that time. Why is Krishna not coming to save Parikshit Maharaj now? Basically, probably the purpose of Krishna saving Parikshit Maharaj at that time is to preserve the Kuru Vamsa, basically, and that purpose has been served at that point of time. And Parikshit Maharaj has again five sons, I believe, and Janamejaya is the eldest one. So that is at the same time, Parikshit Maharaj is a very what you call a very very devotional to Lord Krishna, and Krishna loves him so much so that he has given him an eternal place on this land through Bhagavatam, through Srimad Bhagavatam, basically. So again, Krishna says in a Bhagavad Gita, right? He's at his own will, basically. What he can do is his wish, basically. At the same time, he's bound by devotees, and he takes care of devotees the way it is best for that particular soul. So the need for Parikshit Maharaj to be there was there. The need for Parikshit Maharaj to move on is there, basically. And that's how we have seen the end of Parikshit Maharaj. Then, my dear king, your four sons, Janamejaya, Srutasena, Bhimasena, Ugrasena, are very powerful. Janamejaya is the eldest. So he has four sons, and Janamejaya is the eldest. And Janamejaya becomes king, takes care of the kingdom at a very early age. Because of your death by Takshaka snake, your son Janamejaya will be very angry and will perform a sacrifice to kill all the snakes in the world. So he wants to eradicate the snake population and he does the Taksha Yajna, it's called. It kills all the snakes basically. After conquering throughout the world and after accepting Tura, the son of Kalasa, as his priest, Janmejaya will perform Aswamedha Yajnas, for which he will be known as Turaga Mehadasat. Turaga Mehadasat, basically. And Janmejaya performs more Aswamedhas after that, basically. So Parikshit Maharaj is hearing the future of Kuru Vamsa, basically. The son of Janmejaya, known as Satanika, will learn from Yajnavalka the three Vedas and the art of performing ritualistic ceremonies. He will also learn the military art from Kripacharya and the transcendental science from sage Saunaka. So the only person that is left from that is supporting the Kuruvamsa is Kripacharya after Kurukshetra Yajna. He's still there, and he becomes the what do you call it, the Acharya for Parikshit Maharaj, Janmejaya, and his children, basically. 39 shloka. The son of Satanika will be Sahasranika, and from him will come the son named Aswamedhaja. From Aswamedhaja will come Asim Krishna, and his son will be Nimi Chakra. So again, this is the continuity of Kuru Vamsha from Janmejaya, basically. Yeah. The town of Hastinapura, New Delhi, is inundated by the river. Nemi Chakra will live in the place known as Kausambi. His son will be celebrated as Chitraratha, and the son of Chitraratha will be Suchiratha. The continuity of Vamsa, basically. From Suchiratha will come the son Vrishnaman, and his son Susena will be the emperor of the entire world. The son of Susena will be Sunitha, and his son will be Nrichakshu, and from Nrichakshu will come a son named Sukhinala. Again, from there, the son of Sukhinala will be Pariplava, and his son will be Sunya. From Sunya will come the son named Medhavi. From Medhavi, Nrupunjaya, and from Nrupunjaya, Dhruva. From Dhruva, Timi. So again, this dynasty continues. So Pariplava, very, yeah. So then from 43, it goes on and goes on. And then from Timi will come Bhadrata, from Bhadrata, Sudhasha, and from Sudhasha, Satanika, and from Satanika will come Durmanda, Durdamana, and from him will come named Mahinara. And then I think this is the last shloka, 45 and 49. The son of Mahinara will be Dandapani, and his son will be Nimi, and from whom King Kshemaka will be born. I have now described to you the moon god's dynasty, which is the source of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, and is worshipped by demigods and great saints. In this Kali Yuga, Kshemaka will be the last monarch. Now I shall describe you the future of Magadha dynasty. Please listen. And then the future of Magadha dynasty. Sahadeva, the son of Jarasandha, will have a son named Marjari. From Marjari will come Srutasarva. From Srutasarva, Yutavu, and from Yutavu, Nirmitra. The son of Nirmitra will be Sukanshtra. From Sukanshtra will be Brihasena, and from Brihasena, Karmajit. From Karmajit will be Sutranjaya. The son of Sutranjaya will be Vipra, and the son will be Suchi. And son of Suchi will be Kshema, and the son of Kshema will be Survata, and the son of Survata will be Dharma Sutra, and from Dharma Sutra will come Sama. From Sama, Dyumtasena, and from Dyumtasena Sumati, and from Sumati Subala. So probably in these 500 years, 5,000 years, these dynasties have come. Probably we are related to some of these last names, basically. From Subala will come Sunita, from Sunita, Satyajit, from Satyajit, Vishwajit, and from Vishwajit, Rupunjaya. All these personalities will belong to the dynasty of uh, Brahadrata, which will rule the world for 1000 years. This is the history of monarchy that began with Jarasandha and continued for 1000 years. As above mentioned, kings appear on the surface of the globe. So, so after seeing the chapter that Prasad Prabhu did, explaining the whole dynasty, I asked him if he can help us do the same thing for this chapter, basically. So, so thanking Prasad Prabhu for putting this whole dynasty of Ajamida in one chart again. He did a lot of work on this. He took help of a lot of AI tools. And then he put together this particular chart. This explains the entire chapter, basically. The lineage of Mitrayudu, then the Ajamida, and then Pandava lineage, and then the Magadha, the dynasty of Jarasandha that we just read through, basically. Here it explains still the dynasty of Santanu and Satyavati, how Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura were born. And before that, from the whole Kuru dynasty, the first few chapters, so from the beginning, basically. Then from Pandu came the Yudhishthira Maharaj, Bhima and Arjuna, and then Nakula and Sahadeva. And from these, the sons of Draupadi, the Upapandavas that were killed by Aswadhama, thinking that they're Pandavas. And from Arjuna's other wives is Subhadra, and from there Parikshit, and from there Janamejaya came. And from Janamejaya is the dynasty we actually just read through. And if you also actually go to page number, I think 704, the whole dynasty chart was also given in the book, basically, in our textbook. Sorry, in our Srimad Bhagavatam book, 705, 706 onwards. The whole genealogical table, descendants of Vaishnava, Vaishnavathamanu, and then, yeah, different chapters, the different things were given. The Kuru Vamsa, up to Kuru Vamsa was given, basically. Then that's page 716. If you see, you have some idea of the Janamejaya, and then you see the 26 generations of Janamejaya. It ends with the Soma dynasty, basically. That's the end of this particular chapter. So the chapter talks mostly about the dynasties, basically, but the things to understand is basically how Lord Krishna came to this earth, this land, not too long ago, 5,000 years ago, to set back Dharma Samstapana, to put the Dharma back. And if we are not following those principles, then we are simply not understanding what pains the Lord has taken by coming to the earth, basically. We're not understanding the love that the Lord wants. The Lord is craving from us, and the way of life that we need to lead to go back to that Goloka. So understanding these dynasties to some extent, I don't know how it should help, basically, understanding that Janmejaya had 26 dynasties, and then that Vamsa ended. Probably the way to understand it is no matter how much you care for your own so-called dynasty, that will also come to an end. The great dynasties have ended on this earth, basically. The great kings, great leaders, great personalities that thought this land is theirs forever, were taken care by Lord in different ways, basically, to tell you that anything in the materialistic world, anything in this Bhaudika Prapancha, anything in this materialistic world is temporary. No matter how sacred or how great your dynasties are going to be, how great your Vamsha is going to be, how great your Parampara is, how great your Varasatva, Virasat is, basically. but what really, so Kshatriya Vamsam, Kshatriya is Bhaudikam, Brahmana is Adhyatmikam. That is what is explained in one of the purports of Bhagavad Gita. So the Brahmana Tattva means going from Rajasic to Sattva and then from there to Suddha Sattva. Then that has no bearing on the parampara, dynasties, or rebirth. That Suddha Sattva is the only way to get out of these kind of charts. If you're ever wanting to stay as one of these people in one of these charts now become just what do you call it, a snapshot of history, and beyond that probably you're not, the history is not able to measure you, and you have taken some other birth after birth. And so to get out of these charts, get out of these dynasties, get out of these paramparas, is only to embrace that Brahmanatva, the Sutta Sattva Tattva, and become what do you call a messenger of Bhakti Yoga. No other yoga can ever take you. No other yoga, no other art, no other science, no other ambition can ever take you out of this Bhaudika Prapancham, basically. So this should help us set our mind. And we have 2 more chapters, but this should help us set our mind entering into 10th canto, so that we understand the Krishna Tattva and the Tattva that we should become part of, basically, and then embrace into Bhakti Yoga. Hare Krishna. So that's what I tried to explain from this chapter. There is, especially these few shlokas, there is not much accepting charts of lineage. And I thought, I don't know how charts of lineage should tell us anything, but not worry about lineage, but get out of that cycle of lineage, basically. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of 9th canto, 22nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Descendants of Ajamida. Hare Krishna. If anybody has any questions, from the chapter or otherwise also, let us discuss for a couple of minutes. And if you have any comments, please correct me if I'm wrong, if I said something wrong. If I said something wrong, it's more because of my understanding of what I heard. Please forgive me as you forgive one of your own little child. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have a doubt there. Why did Abhimanyu's lifespan was so less?
So it is a son of Soma who's come as Abhimanyu, but he decided when he was asked to go to the earth as an Amsa, serving the mission of Lord. So he said he does not want to stay for so long, basically, on the earth, basically. That's the reason why his lifespan is very short. Nadi Parva is written as 16 years, basically. But
and Prabhuji, here also, you said that Vyasa Deva begot the sons through the womb of Ambalika and Ambika, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Vyasadeva is generally a Brahman.
Yes.
So here, when the sons begot, then they should be Brahman, right?
So that's the modern understanding. But in those days, or from the time of Parasurama, when he killed all the Kshatriyas, the Kshatriya women were given the what do you call it, seed from Brahmanas, but they continue to be Kshatriyas. Now, probably that's when the Kshatriyatvam, Brahmanatvam is not by birth, by guna, basically, right? The 4 gunas are created by 4 varnas, are divided by me by guna, is what even Lord Krishna said in Mahabharata, in Bhagavad Gita. So the Brahmanas are so powerful, but in the sense they does not own the resultant of their own seeds. It is the mother who takes care of that seed giver. So it is like, why were Brahmanas allowed to do that and no other people? Brahmanas can actually be so detached to their own seed, basically. That's the reason why Brahmanas were chosen. And there's a whole story that Bhishmadev explains to Satyavati how Brahmanas were allowed to do so because of killing of Parasurama, killing of these Kshatriyas. So that was allowed at that time, and it is the mother that carried the Kshatriya Tattva, and that's how they became Kshatriyas, even though Brahmanas were the seed giving fathers, basically. That's my understanding of this.
Yes, Prabhuji, and even Amba, who was Amba in her past life, as she was the reincarnation. Shikandini was the reincarnation of Amba, right?
Yeah,
Prabhuji?
Rakshasagana. Shikandi was reincarnation of Rakshasagana. Now, who was Ambika? So I do not know. I have not read to that detail of Adiparva. Probably it is there in the beginning of Adiparva. So again, what I read through is based on this book Mahabharat. Basically, from this book is where I've read through some of these past incarnations. But bottom line, we need to understand is every life has a reason. Every birth has a reason. And our goal is to cut those cords of reason and take the shelter of Bhakti Yoga. If not, you are attached to those cords, basically. You're attached to those reasons. And those reasons bound to make you reborn again, including Ganga and Santanu. They were sitting in what you call Sadgaloka, and by curse of Brahmadev, they both have come down to Bhuloka. And Bhishmadev also has come down as a part of a curse to Bhuloka. This is those stories should only explain you not so much about knowledge of who is what, but even such great souls have fallen for a reason and had to take birth and had to go through the suffering, basically. So the only way to understand this is to find the way out of understanding this is by taking the shelter of Lord Krishna and taking that nauka, that plava, or as his lotus feet as that what you call the boat to cross the materialistic world and reach back to Goloka, basically. Right, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amma. Hare Krishna. Hope I explained some, but yeah, that's my understanding, Mataji. Thank you. So any other questions, Prabhus and Matajis?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you for taking time to read nicely Mahabharata and explaining all the context in this class. I'm very grateful. We are doing this Srimad Bhagavatam reading so that at least we are in touch with Srimad Bhagavatam. There's many devotees, they have Bhagavatam sets in their home. They've just kept it aside. At least 2-3 times in a week, we should open it, touch the book, and read something. That is the whole objective, and it is being sufficed. It doesn't matter how many are joining. At least I want to be part of it as much as I can. And so many of you are enthusiastically coming. Whoever comes will immensely benefit. And, and thank you for doing this, not only just reading, but doing a little research and coming back and explaining to all of us, making it very interesting. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, we're almost end of 9th canto now. So what is left is 10th canto, basically.
How many more chapters are there?
Two more chapters, Prabhu. 2 more chapters.
Yes. No, Krishna will come in the next chapter itself. Krishna comes in the next chapter itself.
Yes. Yes, this is pretty much end of pre-Krishna time. Yes, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu and Matajis. If there are no more questions, we'll close the call, and Hare Krishna, Shilpa Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam. I'll end the session, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you.